Scene opens, dramatic music swells, and then fades to a subtle, thoughtful tone. Have you ever wondered how a single moment, a single day, can ripple through time and completely reshape the world as we know it? It's a fascinating thought, isn't it? We often think of history as this grand, slow-moving river, but sometimes it's more like a series of dramatic waterfalls where everything changes in an instant. Today, we're going to dive into one of those waterfalls. We're talking about a single battle that didn't just decide a war, but set the course for the next 2,000 years of Western civilization. I'm not talking about Waterloo, or Gettysburg, or Stalingrad. We have to go way back. Picture this. It's the year 09 AD. The mighty Roman Empire is at the zenith of its power, an unstoppable force that has conquered its way across continents. Its legions, the most disciplined and effective fighting force the world had ever seen, seemed invincible. Under the command of Emperor Augustus, Rome had its eyes set on a new prize, the vast, dark, and wild lands of Germania, east of the Rhine River. The plan was simple, at least on paper. Conquer the Germanic tribes, establish a new province, and bring them into the fold of Roman civilization, just as they had done with Gaul and Iberia. This task was given to a man named Publius Quinctilius Varus, an experienced administrator and a nobleman trusted by the emperor. He marched into Germania with 3 of Rome's finest legions, the 17th, 18th, and 19th, along with auxiliary troops and support staff. It was a force of nearly 20,000 men, a veritable moving city of Roman military might. Varus was confident. He'd served as a governor in Syria and Judea, where he'd successfully put down revolts and managed complex political situations. He probably saw Germania as just another box to tick on the empire's long list of conquests. But he made a critical miscalculation. He fundamentally misunderstood the people, the land, and most importantly, a man he considered a trusted friend and advisor. That man's name was Arminius. To the Romans, he was a valuable ally. Arminius was the son of a Germanic chieftain given to Rome as a hostage in his youth. He was raised in Rome, educated, granted Roman citizenship, and even achieved the rank of equestrian, a high social status. He served in the Roman army, learned its tactics, its strengths, and its weaknesses, all while commanding his own Germanic auxiliary troops. On the surface, he was the perfect example of a civilized barbarian, a bridge between two worlds. But beneath the surface, Arminius's loyalty was not to the eagle of Rome, but to the forests of his homeland. He saw the Roman occupation not as a gift of civilization, but as an oppressive yoke on his people. While playing the part of Varus's loyal advisor, he was secretly forging a powerful alliance of Germanic tribes, uniting them with a singular, audacious goal: to ambush and annihilate the Roman army. In the autumn of 09 AD, Arminius's plan was set in motion. He fed Varus false intelligence reports of a minor, localized tribal uprising that needed to be quelled. It was a clever trap. The supposed rebellion was in a remote area, forcing Varus to take a detour from the established Roman roads and march his legions through the unfamiliar, dense, and treacherous Teutoburg forest. Think about what this meant for the Romans. Their strength was in open-field battles, where their disciplined formations and superior organization could crush any opponent. In a dense, dark forest with narrow, muddy paths, their formations were useless. The long column of soldiers, baggage trains, and camp followers stretched for miles, making communication and coordination nearly impossible. They were slow, vulnerable, and completely out of their element. And that's exactly where Arminius wanted them. As the Romans struggled through the mud and thick woods, a storm broke out. Rain lashed down, turning the path into a quagmire. The soldiers were cold, wet, and miserable. And then it began. From all sides, the forest erupted. With blood-curdling war cries, thousands of Germanic warriors, who knew this terrain like the back of their hands, descended upon the stretched-out Roman line. This wasn't a battle, it was a slaughter. The Romans couldn't form their famous testudo, or tortoise formation. They couldn't see their enemy until it was too late. Spears and javelins rained down from the trees. Warriors would strike at a weak point in the column and then melt back into the forest. For 3 days, this brutal, running ambush continued. The legions, these symbols of Roman invincibility, were systematically dismembered. Panic and despair set in. Varus, seeing that all was lost, fell on his own sword, choosing death over the dishonor of being captured. His senior officers followed his example. By the end of the 3rd day, the 17th, 18th, and 19th legions were no more. Nearly 20,000 Roman soldiers and personnel were dead. Their legionary eagles, the sacred standards that symbolized the honor and spirit of each legion, were captured by the tribes, the ultimate humiliation for Rome. When the news reached Emperor Augustus in Rome, he was said to have been so devastated that he repeatedly banged his head against a wall, crying out, "Quinctilius Varus, give me back my legions." He let his hair and beard grow 4 months as a sign of mourning, and the numbers 17, 18, and 19 were never used for legions again. They were permanently erased from the Roman military roster, a perpetual reminder of this catastrophic defeat. But the real impact of the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest goes far beyond the loss of 3 legions. It fundamentally changed the course of history. Before this battle, Roman expansion seemed limitless. After it, they were stopped dead in their tracks. The Rhine River, which was supposed to be a temporary stopping point, became the permanent frontier of the Roman Empire for the next 400 years. Germania was never conquered. Rome gave up on the idea of incorporating these lands into their empire. So, what are the long-term consequences? First, it preserved a distinct Germanic culture and language. If Rome had succeeded, it's likely that the Germanic tribes would have been Romanized, adopting Latin and Roman customs, just as the Gauls did in what is now France. Instead, German, Dutch, English, and the Scandinavian languages were allowed to develop independently. The very language I'm speaking to you in now, English, is a Germanic language. It exists in its current form because of what happened in that forest to millennia ago. Second, this created a profound and lasting division in Europe. The line of the Rhine and Danube rivers became a cultural and political fault line. To the west and south, the Latin-based, Roman-influenced world. To the east and north, the Germanic-speaking world. This division has echoed through the centuries, shaping the map of Europe, influencing conflicts from the fall of Rome to the world wars, and defining the identities of nations like France and Germany. The Battle of the Teutoburg Forest was more than a military disaster for Rome, it was a turning point for the world. It ensured the survival of a cultural identity that would go on to shape Northern Europe, Britain, and by extension, North America and Australia. It drew a line in the sand that history never erased. It just goes to show that sometimes the fate of the world doesn't hinge on grand congresses or royal decrees, but on a clever plan, a treacherous forest, and the desperate courage of people fighting for their homes. A single event that sent shockwaves through time, shaping the very words we speak and the world we live in today. What do you think? Can you think of another single event that had such a massive, world-altering impact? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And if you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the moments that made us who we are. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.